Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from PaulthePoke.com, and welcome to This Week in Prophecy. Topics this week, we have the BRICS conference completed down in South Africa. Prigozhin, he had a little plane problem. Euphrates River and the Tabqa Dam, and we're going to close with theft. So we'll get started. Revelation 13, verses 16 and 17. And he, this would be the Antichrist, causes all the small and the great, and the rich and the poor, and the free man and the slaves, to be given a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. And he provides that no one will be able to buy or to sell, except one who has the mark, either the name of the beast or the number of his name. So, we're talking about a one world global economy with a common currency where one person can control it, or so it would appear. Now, the world is looking to break the dollar's hold as the reserve currency on the planet. And I want to be clear, we are not in the tribulation. And currently, there is not a one world currency system in place for global economics. The dollar is the closest thing, and the world is turning away from the dollar. And so, with the meeting in South Africa this past week, one of the things they did agree upon, BRICS officially agrees to end the use of the US dollar. So if you click on this link right here, it'll take us to this article. There we go. And this is from watcher.guru. And the BRICS alliance has called for the abandonment of the US dollar for international trade at the summit in Johannesburg. BRICS will officially end reliance on the U.S. dollar for global trade settlements moving forward. And this was confirmed. The bloc collectively decided to abandon the U.S. dollar, and there was no opposition. So they're all going to do it. They're going to use local currencies for cross-border settlements and strengthening their native economies. Now, they don't have a common currency yet. That has yet to occur. But the move will pave the way for a paradigm shift in global economy and reshape the political landscape. And bilateral ties with other countries will be reworked, and the U.S. dollar will face stiff competition in the long run, is the idea. So they're wanting to get away from the dollar. Now, if they all do it, it's gonna create some pressure on the dollar, and the dollar will be less valuable moving forward. And it's pretty straightforward. That's not really much of a debate. Now, this was also released, so we have the original charter members: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, looking to join the group as of January 1st, 2024. Saudi Arabia, Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE look to join the BRICS January 1st, 2024. And I've seen anywhere from 20 to 40 countries wanting to be a part of this process. We'll see what that happens. But this is pretty consistent. And depending on the study that you're looking at, the BRICS membership will control anywhere from 50 to 80% of the world's oil production. Now, currently, Venezuela, Iraq, and Libya are not members of the BRICS, but if they were to decide to join the BRICS, that number moves closer towards the 80%. It's really simple math. There are more people in the BRICS member nations, and the BRICS and friends eventually will have a larger economy than the West. I mean, that's just going to happen simply by the number of people. Now, this is a tweet that went out, and it says new composition of the BRICS will control 80% of the world's oil production. Well, that's a bit generous. But again, here's the BRICS as a 2024 in the green countries. If you add Libya, largest oil producer in Africa, add Iraq, add Venezuela, largest oil producer in South America, I mean, you're looking at controlling 65, 70%. These are the fact checkers from Twitter, and they make a good point here. The U.S. and Canada alone produce, I'm going to say, approximately a quarter of the world's oil. Now, we could ramp up production. So could the Canadians. I mean, so this is just not a fixed piece of pie. But they can do things too. Now, currently, the BRICS and OPEC, they've been cutting production to control the price of oil, trying to drive up the price of oil, use oil as an economic weapon against the West. I mean, after all, the West has used the dollar as a weapon against the rest of the world. So they've got a commodity and a control of a commodity to where they can do that to the West to some degree. So something to definitely watch over the next, 4 months before 2024 happens. And I suspect there'll be more countries that do join the BRICS moving forward. Now we'll shift gears with that. We're going to go to Ezekiel 38 verses 1 through 3, focus on Gog of the land of Magog. Now the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, set your face against Gog of the land of Magog, the prince of Rosh, Meshech, and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus says the Lord, Behold, I'm against you, O Gog, prince of Rosh, Meshech, and Tubal. So the question, a lot of people ask, is Vladimir Putin the ancient figure Gog as described by Ezekiel? Now, I would lean towards no, simply because of Putin's age and health. He doesn't appear to be too long for this world, but who knows? But I would say this, if Putin is Gog, I mean, we are on a serious fast track for some big time end times action. I mean, because a lot of things would have to, that would put Putin, say he is the guy, add 7 years from now, and he's into his mid 70s and arguably looks like he has something similar to Parkinson's. That'd put him in some pretty rough shape 7 years from now. But I frankly worry about what's behind him, because whatever comes behind him is going to be more radical than what he is, because he has people in his world who want Russia to be more aggressive on a geopolitical stage. So at any rate, 2 months to the day, I think it was the 23rd of August. So I backed it up to July 23rd, the attempted coup to overthrow Putin. The head of Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, has died in a plane crash. Now, the latest is a bomb was planted on the plane. Incidentally, I'm sure y'all have seen the video. Somebody was there to see the plane explode and kind of fall to the ground, and miraculously, there were people there immediately to capture video of the plane burning. Amazing coincidences that happened in Russia. Now, the Kremlin has denied any part of the incident. Accusation of Putin's involvement are, quote, absolute lies, according to the Kremlin. He didn't do it. So all you people out there who think Putin had a hand in Prigozhin's death and that plane breaking up, getting shot down, exploded, whatever, those are lies. And it didn't happen that way. So just get that out of your head. Now, for those of you who want to take a deeper dive into the news, Daily Mail has put together a nice little synopsis of articles. Click on this link. Here's the article. And genetic tests confirm the Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin was among the 10 people killed in the plane crash, according to Russian investigators. So they do have that figured out. Now, here's the engineer. These are kind of fun. Carried out the last minute repairs. Warlord Prigozhin's doomed plane is under interrogation by Russian authorities. If this guy did he act alone? Sergei Kitrich under investigation. Now this was the takeaway to me. Putin orders Wagner troops to swear oath of loyalty to him as flight recovers are recorded from plane crash that killed their leader Prigozhin. Putin wants anybody who was part of the Wagner Group to swear an allegiance to Putin and the Russian flag. Now, some of these folks aren't buying that. and they're moving out of Belarus, and apparently they didn't have permission to do that. Lots of stuff going on over there in regards to this. Another article: assassination of Wagner Group chief Prigozhin could plunge Russia into civil war. Jailed opposition leader Navalny warns. Boris Johnson, English fella, that tumbling plane and Prigozhin's televised immolation are the ultimate proof that there never can be a negotiated peace with Putin in Ukraine. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So if you guys really want to get into what they think happened, what's believed to have happened, speculation on what happened. I mean, there's Prigozhin's stewardess. She was describing maintenance. She put it on Facebook right before the plane took off. Took some pictures. I mean, they're getting into the nitty gritty of this. I don't know that any of it matters, or at least it doesn't appear to matter now. I mean, to me, if anything, Putin's just had a stronger grip on his power in Russia. So you can check that out. From there, we're going to go to Jeremiah 50, verses 38 and 39. A drought against her waters, her being Babylon, that they may be dried up. For it is a land of images, and they are mad over idols. So God explains why the Euphrates and the Tigris River go dry in that land. That'd be Babylon, modern day Iraq. Therefore, wild beasts shall dwell with hyenas in Babylon, and ostriches shall dwell in her. She shall never again have people, nor be inhabited for all generations. And I would argue that would be to at least the border of the Euphrates River, because at some point that will be part of millennial Israel, according to God's eternal promise and covenant with the Israeli people, that their land shall be from the Nile to the Euphrates. That has yet to happen, but at some point we know it will. And we also know from Revelation 16, the Euphrates River does go dry. Specifically, and this is from Israel365news.com, the Euphrates River at the Tabqa Dam in Syria is at its lowest point in recorded history. Here's the article, and this is from Adam Berkowitz from Israel365news.com. Here's a picture of said Euphrates River. You can see that part in the middle was probably underwater at some point, and you can see where the river extends out, where now it's dry land. And what is it? The water level at Tabqa Dam on the Euphrates River has plummeted to historic lows over the past 3 weeks. Let's see. Creating more food insecurity in Syria. Turkey is reportedly releasing sewage into the river, coupled with lowered water levels, leading to the formation of stagnant pools where algae thrive. Also, waterborne diseases have increased salinity in the river as well. So we got some problems because of this. And just to give you guys a feel for where all this is taking place, here's the Euphrates Dam, the Tabqa Dam on the Euphrates in Syria. Be kind of north central Syria. And again, that goes on down and empties eventually into the Persian Gulf. So, not a good situation. You want to read a little bit more about this. Where does water from the Euphrates come from? Comes primarily, Turkey provides 98% of Euphrates discharge. So they're the main controller of water being released into the Euphrates. And they've got dams all over the place up there in Turkey. For electrical purposes, of course. It's to make things better for those folks in Turkey. They're not too concerned about those folks downriver. Clearly willing to use water as a weapon of manipulation. So if you want to read these things, and this was for those of you guys who've been following along for some time, this dam was a big deal. ISIS had control of this dam and was threatening to blow it along with Mosul Dam over here in Iraq. So they had control. ISIS had control of both of two major dams on the Tigris and the Euphrates. Now that all got shut down, and they were taken out of power. But these two dams could play a role in the end time scenario. Of course, it could just dry up and there's no rain. Well, we do know there's no rain for the first arguably 3.5 years of the tribulation, because the two witnesses have the power to withhold water, withhold rain. So probably be pretty dry on planet Earth as well as this part of the world as well. And then we're going to close with this, and just as just a friendly reminder, one of the 10 commandments: you shall not steal. No stealing. And this is becoming a scene, from all over the really North America, and even the cigarette. He's going to fill up his garbage bin. He's talking some trash. And this is at an Indian. This is run by a couple of Indian fellas. And that's enough of that, because you call the police. Police aren't going to do anything in certain parts of our country. And I believe these two gentlemen got in some trouble for this, for taking justice into their own hands. And it's a shame. I highly recommend listening to the audio of this. Um, and as I see it, that's a rod. Spare the rod, spoil the child. And what we're watching there, uh, I think it's an act of love, as seen in Proverbs 13:24. Whoever spares the rod hates his son, but he who loves him is diligent to discipline him. So these two gentlemen, this is an act of love on this attempted thief, and they're trying to get him to steer him in the right direction. Uh, I like it. He's holding her up there pretty good with the foot. Now he's going to get turned a little bit crossways, and the thief makes the mistake and exposes his buttocks there to the cane. And we get some good direct shots there on the bottom. And it hurts. He said ouch, among some other things. Um, but, that was an act of love these two gentlemen showed toward this thief, and they're trying to correct his behavior and trying to get him to stop it. Um, Friendly reminder: don't steal. Don't steal. So, short version of This Week in Prophecy. Appreciate you guys following along. Please feel free to share with others at PaulthePoke.com. If you have not signed up, type your email address in here under email address, hit subscribe, and you'll be notified along with others. We got something going out. We got the fall feasts coming up in about 2 to 3 weeks. I suspect geopolitical action, economic action to increase. It usually does this time of the year. So we will be watching. And if you enjoy this, again, share it with others. Be much appreciated. And wishing everybody a good week out there. Take care. Have a good one.